got 40 different ways.
40 different cameras.
Different media things here.
And we are going live.
Is this the next NBC right here in Alabama? What's going on?
In 3, 2, 1, right side clear, left side clear.
There we go.
Firing line clear.
Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6 of Ask the Insurance Guy Online. I am joined today by one of my best friends in the whole world.
Thank you. Thank you.
And superstar salesperson and former national champion in the world of college mascots, Mr. Shane Sharpe.
How you doing, sir?
Sharpe. Thank you for being here.
This is the episode they're going to watch.
This is it. This may be the final one. After this, they may just say we're not doing it anymore.
Well, ESPN's watching because they're going to pick this up and broadcast on Fox, and everybody's going to want this. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm cheap.
Me and you together.
I'm cheap, and I know ESPN needs cheap right now.
Hey,
so.
Fox News will take $82 million right now.
Yeah, he called me yesterday, guys, and he said, if Sirius wants to pick us up for $80 million, would you do it? And I said, well, I probably would for $82 million.
82.
Yeah.
So not a penny less.
Guys,
if we go 81.9, we're not there.
For those of you just joining us, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Scott Howell. I'm originally from Hamilton, Alabama. I am a nationwide insurance agent. I'm also the insurance guy online. I've been in the insurance business since 2008. Okay. I want to continue to bring value to not only our customers, our members here in this agency, but to all you people out there in the world of the social media world, I guess.
That's where everybody is now.
Exactly, that is.
Everybody's on social media today.
And so in order to do that, I came up with this idea, this crazy idea, to go on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook one day a week and start doing Ask the Insurance Guy Online. And I have really enjoyed it so far. I've learned a lot about a lot of my people that have come on, and I've learned a lot about myself as well. And I just really appreciate everybody watching today. Started out in insurance with State Farm in 2008. Nobody wanted to hire me. Nobody wanted to give me a chance. Nobody wanted to do that. And I went out, got my license. I was fortunate enough to have an agent that had just started himself in the insurance business that hired me. And it's been a long road. I broke the Guinness Book of World Record for the most time in a sales program of any insurance agent in the history of the world.
Nice.
And here we are today. So that was
knocking it out.
That was it in about a 10-second span. So today I want to talk a little bit about a lot of different things. To start with, we always ask the one question. So Shane is one of, if not the best salesperson that I've ever had the privilege of being around.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
He and I both started at Randall Publishing in Tuscaloosa. If you are a senior right now at the University of Alabama, and you are about to graduate, go work for free for Mike Riley for about 3 years, and specifically tell him, put my ass in target marketing for about 6 months and let me just dial for dollars.
Let me learn how to sell.
It will be the best sales training you will ever have. And you can keep living in your crappy apartment that you're already living in, going out with your buddies, and do that for about 3 years and get after it. And I would highly encourage anybody that's in Tuscaloosa that has access to any friends or family members at Randall Publishing, go make that happen and make the best of it.
Did you get a touch of Boiler Room when you worked there?
I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Did it feel like that you were working in the Boiler Room?
Mike Riley, if you see this movie, if you see this show right now, we love you.
Bragging on
Chip Magner. Brett Hutto. Who else is still there?
Ryan Coyne.
Jeff Mason. Love. Jeff Mason. Right there, baby. I love
you.
Great American.
Yes.
So, we kind of cut our teeth at Randall Publishing in Tuscaloosa. While we were there, we have lots of stories about Randall Publishing.
Wow, yes.
But before Randall Publishing, he and I knew each other on a personal level.
Right.
Shane and a group of guys were Big Al. And they actually won, while they were there, the national championship for mascots.
Yeah, man.
Tell everybody right now, tell everybody on the show, the group of guys that the year that y'all won it, who made up that group? Because I want them to be recognized.
So
they're all friends of ours too.
They are, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that group was comprised of 3 people. Back then we had 2 varsity spots and 1 JV spot. And so myself and a guy named Jason Watley really kind of pushed the envelope, if you will, and another guy named Brian Birdwell also played with us. But Jason Watley, that's my boy. Been just a great friend of mine forever. I feel like when I met him, it was a kindred spirit, and we knew that we were going to be besties the rest of the way. You know what I mean? So this guy,
I think, were y'all living together when I met you?
We never lived together. That probably would have been too much. But one thing about Jason and I that made our team so good, and I think if you look at any sports team, this rings true for them too. Jason and I were not satisfied ever with second place, not even within the 3 of us. We were consistently trying to outdo each other. So if we had a football game, we played Mississippi State today, and then we'd come home, and if my friends tell Jason, dude, you are so good. When you did that little move today, it burned me up, because I wanted him to tell me how good I was doing, right? So then the next week we're playing against Ole Miss, and the buddies are telling me, Shane, that was awesome. You know, when you tackled the Colonel, and then Jason get fired up, and so he'd bring it out the next game.
Yeah. And
so we were just always one-upping each other. And because we did that, we raised our game as a mascot to a brand new level. There's no doubt that I couldn't have done the job that I did without Jason Watley by my side, that's for sure.
Great book. I've actually read this book. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I appreciate you reading it.
Let me say this. I've seen the disc. I actually wanted, I wish you'd have brought a CD. I wanted to.
Check out on YouTube, Big Al Takes Out Gator.
That's it.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you guys some of the fights that you guys got into and I know some of them were staged with, Jason
Sure,
would be, but some of them were not.
No, some were legit.
And they were too legit to quit. So
I had a few of those in my day that were, and I'm not a fighter. That's not my thing. I'm a talker. God bless me with the ability to speak, but these things don't work too good.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you what, when you're in front of 90,000 people and they're screaming to whoop his tail, you think you can.
Exactly.
And so, and look, and you're wearing a big fiberglass shell on the head, so they're not going to hurt you. So once you kind of come to that realization that it can't hurt, then you can get after it.
So the first time I ever met Shane, we were in downtown. You'd seen me at a pool. And University Downs, and I had
just come in from the Marines, I think.
I had, and so, but I had not met you yet, and so I meet Shane at some social function, and the first thing I ever thought about Shane Sharpe, first time I ever met him, he reminded me, and I love this about him.
Tom Cruise.
No, well but you reminded me of Ferris Bueller, and not in how he looked. But I could tell when I met Shane.
Let me pause you for a second and tell you the irony of what you just said.
Okay.
Can I tell you?
Okay.
So we just spent 2 good minutes talking about Jason Watley, what a great American he was.
Right.
Jason Watley is the spitting image of Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
He is.
And everywhere we went, people would say, weren't you in that movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off? So for you to say that, that's crazy.
Well, let me say this.
You, man.
Here, first time I ever met Shane, I thought, this kid knows every single human being in Tuscaloosa at the University of Alabama. And I think you just about did before it was all over.
I was trying my best.
And you could have blindfolded me and walked me to any place in Tuscaloosa and taken the blindfold off, and I could have said, do you know Shane Sharpe? And they'd have said, oh, the guy that's Big Al. Yeah, I know Shane.
That's funny.
So that was the first time I ever met Shane. And I think, we were talking earlier about personalities that do well in sales.
Sure.
And I think you and I both have that common denominator of we never meet a stranger.
Right.
You could drop us both off in the middle of the Sahara Desert with a canteen of water. And my mom and dad love to tell people that. You could drop Scott off in the middle of the desert, and he'd, two days later he'd have, he'd be over at somebody's house cooking steaks and hanging out with family.
Find a way to get it done.
Exactly. And so I think that is if you're looking for indicators for all of you people out there that are in sales or own a business and are looking for guys and girls that can get it done in sales, I really think that's a common denominator. People who have that outgoing, never meet a stranger personality.
It's a confidence,
yeah,
almost a swagger that the successful salespeople have.
Yeah.
That when they walk in the room, they control it.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to hear what they've got to say.
Right.
And if you can identify what that is and say that I've got to make that me, You can be very successful in sales because as soon as you walk in the door, the decision maker then is obligated to listen to you and hear what it is. What's different about you? Why did you walk in like this? You're not tiptoeing up to, I'm the boss.
Right.
Don't you know who I am?
Right.
And immediately, if you're on their level, they get that, and they want to find out why.
And let me tell you something else that he and I both have going for us. Number one, I look like a deranged Gilligan now with my goatee, but we both have whiskers on our chin.
Yes.
And we've had a lot of life experiences. So when you start telling the story, or we're in a situation where we're around people, we always have a great story to tell. And there's a guy on the internet. I love him to death. I was telling you about him earlier, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary V.
The story. The ability to tell the story about your business and be a storyteller, I think really helps you in sales.
Well,
I really do.
Because when you paint that picture, and they can see themselves inside that situation. For me, selling Servpro, for example, I will consistently paint the picture for a business owner. Put yourself in the situation that if a water pipe broke in here today, what would you do?
Exactly.
What would happen? Like, what's your go-to? Do you have somebody you need to call that you know, I got to call Shane at Servpro, he'll take care of this?
Yeah.
For example, today, I'm driving down here and have an IHOP restaurant call and say, hey, you're my guy, I got a problem, can you come take care of it, right? Having a plan is such a big deal there, but when you're talking to an insurance agent and letting them think about what happens when one of your insured calls and they say, Scott, man, I just got home from the lake, and there's water all in my house. It looks like the water line to the refrigerator broke. What do I do?
I get about one call of those a day.
Do you get one of those a day?
Oh yeah.
So I don't know that I get one of those calls a day from you, so we need to talk about that. So anyway.
I love it. I love it.
So anyway, there is no doubt having that plan ready, and but telling that story of what happens if.
Right.
And being able to wrap them in that story where they can visualize that, man, I don't want that to happen to me.
Exactly.
What do I do? So stories, no doubt, is the secret to success in sales.
Okay, before we keep going, I've got to ask the question. So, when you got to Alabama, and I don't know what you were doing, you and I have never, he and I worked together for almost, 5-6 years? It was a long time.
Yeah,
it was a long time.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really good time.
Yeah.
But when you got to Alabama, you've got to tell everybody how we got to this point. How did we get here? Because you didn't just wake up one morning and go, hey, I'm going to be Big Al this year at the University of Alabama.
No, the story would probably be cooler if I did that, there was some work that went into becoming Big Al in Alabama. So in high school, I was the mascot at Minor High School.
Did not know that.
And did that for a couple of years. And so after being the mascot in high school, it was time to graduate and go to college somewhere. And I didn't have the resources to go to college. And so I took the next year off and then went to a school in Tennessee called Lee College. It's Lee University now in Cleveland, Tennessee. And I became the mascot at Lee College. It was Sparky the Flame.
Oh.
Let all the jokes fly right now. Come on, I know.
Hey, I was the naybearer for an entire year at every Homewood activity that we had. I was
the naybearer.
When I started my career in insurance, I will guarantee you in the year 2009, was it 8 or 9? I think it was 9. I wore the naybearer costume at least 6 or 7 times that year. And I loved it.
Good time.
Yeah, it's fun. Go ahead.
So I did that, but ran out of money.
Gotcha.
And came home. And so a couple of years later decided it was time to get back to college. Alabama was always the dream. That's where I wanted to go.
Right.
Grew up an Alabama fan, watching the game. And look, watching football drives you to want to be a student of that college.
Absolutely.
It does. I just wanted to have a taste of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I went to Alabama and I was broke. I mean, I was the guy that was eating Slim Jims for breakfast and lunch, ramen noodles for dinner. That was just what it was.
Right.
And I saw an advertisement that was Big Al tryouts. And that they were trying out for varsity and JV. And varsity got a full in-state athletic tuition scholarship. And JV got a $500 semester scholarship. And I have no idea what it is now. Back then, that's what it was. And so, when I was hungry, and I said, well, I got to try that. And so I went, did the tryout, did the interview, the skit, and lo and behold, ended up becoming one of the 2 varsity spots. Beat out the guy that had done it the previous year, and so it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a game changer for me.
It was,
And
yeah. I
so,
think it just socially and everything else, it catapulted
Confidence-wise,
you.
it gave you a sense of belonging.
Right.
But certainly in business moving forward, it gave me a sense of celebrity, quasi-celebrity, if you will. People know who I am. but they sure know who that costume is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so, so it gave people a chance to remember who I was.
So I got to ask this question: Where was Dornay before, after, or during this time? When was Michael there?
Michael Dornay became Big Al, I want to say it was in '98.
Okay.
So we had just won the national championship for mascots.
Okay.
And so after winning that national championship, Michael came along the following year, and he's actually the guy that got arrested with me as we broke into a WCW wrestling match.
Please tell that story.
All right.
Please. That's our first story of the day right there.
That's going to be the story.
I love it.
All right. So here's how this story breaks down. In order to become a qualifier for national championships for mascots, if you've seen, well, and so it starts off when you go to summer camp. At summer camp, they have a competition for cheerleaders and mascots, really more so for mascots on the college level, where you get a ranking, right? And so if I win that, or if I did really well,
right,
then Universal Cheerleader Association is what the group is called. They then invite you to try to qualify for the national championships. They end up inviting 75 mascots nationally each year to try to qualify. At this point, Big Al had never qualified. You think about all the championships we won in so many different sports. But in mascot, we stunk it up.
Yeah.
And what I was told when I made Big Al was this: Big Al will never qualify to win because the costume's too big and bulky. The hands don't have fingers, they just have big socks, so you can't grip things like you could if you had hands. The feet are too wide, so you can't step. The costume is so wide around the waist, we can't find clothes to put on it. And there are some points
a lot of objections
with changing the persona of the mascot.
A lot of objections.
The costume is so big, it engulfs all the exaggeration that you do. And one of the things they evaluate you on is the exaggeration of the costume. So we just can't. There's no way. We tried and tried it. We just can't. We're actually thinking about scrapping that whole program and not even trying to compete, is what I was told. And so it became a huge goal of mine. Man, look, I wanted to play ball at Alabama, and I wasn't athletically gifted enough to play ball there. But man, I'd love to have done that, right? And so this was my opportunity to play ball at Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I told them up front when we were talking about if I could be Big Al that first year, I told them, I said, I realize that you've got people that are coming back, and they kind of set me up that those people would make it.
Right.
If we took a non-scholarship alternate, how would you take that? And I told them, I said, listen, I can't do that financially. I can't afford to do it. I said, but if you let me make it, I'll be the one that changes the game. I'll be the one that will be the first one to ever qualify for nationals. Not only will I be the first one to ever qualify for nationals, I'll be the first one to ever win it. And I got the spot by saying that. So now it's time to do the work.
Right.
So the summer competition, I won the summer competition. I say me and my team, myself, Jason Watley, Brian Birdwell. We won the summer competition, and we're making our highlight videotape. We sent in our highlight videotape, and we qualified tied for 8th, which was cool because they take the top 10, get to go and compete.
Wow.
So you go to Orlando and you do a routine there. And so the first one from Alabama. That felt really cool. We didn't have YouTube back then. So there's no way to research and find out what's a good skit look like.
Right.
Because you're about to go do a skit. Your video that you just submit is half your score. So we just said, let's try to qualify or try to finish in the top 5 this year. And next year we'll come back and we'll win it. We made what we thought was a great skit. And we went down there and competed it. I felt like I did the best I'd ever done. And so now they've got all 10 of us on stage. Everybody's done the routines. Let's see what's going to happen here. They call out 10th place. And dude, I'm nervous. I'm like, oh, don't be last, please. Don't be last. And it wasn't me.
Right.
And they call 9th. And it's not me. They call 8th. And it's not me. And now I'm like, well, all right. Well, I didn't go backwards.
Right.
I held my ground. All right. They call 7th. Not me. They call 6th. Not me. And you talk about a good feeling.
You're now in beauty pageant land where you're like,
no doubt,
I'm at least top 5.
Well, and I hit the goal.
Yeah.
The goal was nobody's ever done this from Alabama, and now here we are at top 5. Well, I'm also having to be realistic. Half of my score was the video that I sent in.
Right.
And so that tied me for 8th. So if that's half my score, it's going to be a challenge to climb up to the top, right? So they say in 5th place from Penn State University, the Nittany Lion. I'm like, all right, go ahead. Come on, top 4.
Yeah.
And in 4th place from the University of Minnesota, Goldie the Gopher. And I'm like, top 3, let's go. And this is just icing on the cake now, you know?
Right.
And in 3rd place from the University of Tennessee, Smokey.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, now I'm kind of like, wait a minute, I might could win this thing. All right, well, said, that was third. There's only one left. Who's left? So I look to my left, and guess who's standing beside me?
I have no idea.
Oh, you got to know who it was.
Albie.
Albie.
Oh my gosh.
Albie. So Albie, who had qualified first, and had won it like 6 times in a row.
Right. Oh, they win.
They win it all the time.
Yeah.
It pains me to say it.
Yeah.
But they do a really good job. I'm glad that Auburn football is not as good as the mascot. The mascot program's awesome. I'll let them have the mascot. This football program's not there.
But you know, that mascot, it hits all the qualifications that the Big Al guy does.
Perfect costume.
Yeah.
It's
fitted.
it would be so awesome to be
Yeah.
in that costume.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I got to wear the one I wore.
Sure, I got you.
So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, this stinks now. Because now I can just see myself going back home to Tuscaloosa, and my buddy's going, man, how'd you do? I came in second place. Second place? That's awesome. Who won?
Auburn.
Albie. You stink, man. I can't. I could just see that was how it was going to go.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, this is awful. This is the worst case scenario ever,
Right.
right? And so then they say in a second place from Auburn University, Albie.
Did you start crying?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jason Watley came up and tackled me on stage and
Gotcha.
you're the man, you did it, you did it. So anyway, I tell you that part, I tell you this. We go to the summer competition after winning that next year and win the summer competition. We're making our highlight video to send in because now we want to go see.
It's got to be good.
2 years in a row.
Bigger, better.
My roommate Michael and I are sitting here. We're watching WCW wrestling,
Which was huge back then, by the way.
1998. Come on,
Boy, that was when it was at the zenith.
This was the NWO days. If you
Yeah,
remember the NWO.
yeah. This
Right.
was when it was at the zenith.
Matter of fact, we had an NWO shirt made for Big Al, and so that kind of triggered this whole idea
Right.
of as we're watching it. It's a 2-hour show, and it's live in Birmingham.
And you're like,
And I'm in Tuscaloosa, and we watched an hour, and Michael and I say, you know, it'd be really cool. What if we went to Birmingham? What if we went down there and got part of this? I mean, crowd footage
right.
is a huge piece of the puzzle of the
Right.
score. So what if we went and got some really cool crowd footage? Those are our fans. Wrestling fans are Alabama fans, no doubt about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they've had a few drinks to
Sure.
get them a little louder than normal.
Right.
And so maybe we can get some extra points. So we take off. We have to go get the costume out of the Coliseum, which is a different story altogether. If we had enough time, I'd tell you that. We get in my car and we take off top speed to Birmingham. As we're going down the road, just imagine I'm putting on the Big Al costume.
Right.
We're hustling down there. If you've ever been to the BJCC Arena in Birmingham,
Ton, yes.
what's the worst thing about going there?
Parking.
Parking's horrible. Scott, we pull up, and you know those big steps are right there, right in front of 2059.
There's a parking spot.
There's a metered parking spot open right there.
It's meant to be,
It's
Shane.
meant to be. So we pull up, and I get out of the car, put the costume on. Michael's got the video camera, and we take off running up these steps. Now listen.
The big steps, like the Rocky
Yes,
steps?
we're running up the big steps, the Rocky steps, that's right. So as we're running up these steps, man, I can hear.
And
what
you're
sounds
in
like-
the- and you're in the costume.
I'm in full gear ready. Michael's got a camcorder. Remember back in the day we had
Yeah,
camcorders.
yeah.
We didn't have an iPhone back then. So he's got a camcorder. We hear what sounds like a rock concert going on inside.
Sure.
Here's all we know. All we know is the main event, which is the last match of the night, is a guy named Diamond Dallas Page.
Love him.
And he's wrestling a guy named Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig.
Okay.
All right? And that's all we know. And we can hear this crazy crowd going on
Right.
inside. And we go running up, and they've got the glass doors there. We grab the door.
There's no security right there?
Well,
There's no, okay.
You're getting ahead of me.
Okay,
It's all right.
sorry.
We get up to the
Great
doors,
story.
grab the door, try to open it, and it's locked. Can't get in. And I hear all this happening inside. And I'm like, oh, if I could just get
I gotta
in.
get
And I
in.
really don't
I gotta
have a
get
plan.
in.
Like, I don't know
Right.
what we're going to do. We get there. We're really just trying to get in the crowd, really, is the goal.
Right.
Security comes walking by and sees me. Comes to the door, opens it.
Thank you that you're supposed to be part of this.
Thinks I'm part of the show.
Yeah,
And he
okay.
says, Big Al, I'm sorry. You're supposed to go that way.
Yes, you are, Big Al.
And
Yes, you are.
shows me and Michael how to get backstage. So we're running from the concourse down steps. See, Susan going, sorry too. Going down steps to backstage. Now, if you've ever been to one of these matches, here's what it looks like. Take probably a fifth of the arena and block it off with a big black curtain.
Okay.
Right? After you've got this big black curtain, here's the stage with a ramp coming down and a ring right in the middle. We're kind of coming from this angle right here. So as we're coming down, we're having to jump steps, all these things we're having to do. I look in the
Anybody
ring.
seeing you? Is anybody seeing you at this point?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Michael might be a better person to ask than I because
Okay.
I'm in the zone.
Yeah, you just got the costume.
The blinders are on, and all I see is Diamond Dallas Page in the ring.
And he's by himself.
Yes, shirt off, and they're playing his music. And I knew his music because I watched it.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, it's over. So if it's over,
I get in the ring.
it can't hurt anything, right?
Of course not.
So we take off and we jump down this wall. And at this time, I really don't know where Michael is anymore, right?
You're zeroed in and get to the ring.
I'm zeroed in. Get up. Here's this curtain. You go through the curtain. Get on this stage.
Now, people have seen you now, right?
Now I've made my way on stage, and as soon as I make my way on stage,
I can imagine.
Music starts playing, and fireworks go off. The match wasn't over; it was just starting. So here on live national TV is Diamond Dallas Page, and Big Al is now on stage. So what do you do? What do you do at this point? I got to finish the deal.
Oh, absolutely.
So I take off going down this ramp, going to Diamond Dallas Page.
Is he just standing there looking at you like,
now
what in the hell are you doing?
My buddy with the video camera, they've got him at this point.
Oh, they've tackled him?
Just imagine, college kid, camcorder running around. You're not going to make it very far, right? So they've got him. So all he can hear is the crowd at this point. So I go running down to the base of the ring. And Diamond Dallas Page is leaned over talking to the referee.
Like, what is going on?
That's right.
Yeah.
So Diamond Dallas Page had a move that he did. Do you remember what it was called?
No.
The Diamond Cutter.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And so the Diamond Cutter, he would let everybody know he was going to do the Diamond Cutter. He would hold his hands out and real slow, bring them together, make a triangle like this, and then throw his hands down. Everybody would yell, bang! It's just how it went.
Yeah.
So I get to the ring. And now, in the Big Al costume, just imagine, I've got on the Big Al head here. Here's a big trunk right here.
Right.
So I can't see anything in front of me. The eyes are here. So I can see here and here. Right? So I look and I see this crowd, and I take my hand and start raising it together.
You're doing his move?
And the crowd's doing it with me.
Oh my God.
So I get my hands to the top like this, and everybody in the BJCC's with me. I throw my hands down, and all I hear is, bang! And man, I'm going to tell you something. It was awesome. Because look, when I was in Alabama,
yeah,
Mark Gottfried and David Hobbs were the basketball coaches.
Right.
Neither one of them were really energetic basketball coaches and didn't really care if the Coleman Coliseum was rocking.
Right.
Avery Johnson's awesome.
Right.
To have been Big Al under Avery Johnson would have been incredible.
Right.
Right.
He plays it.
He's got the arena rocking.
Yeah.
Not Hobbs.
Right.
And not Gottfried.
Right.
So at Bryant-Denny Stadium, Legion Field, it's crazy loud, but it's open air, so it doesn't like get on you. This got on me and shook the costume.
Right.
And I was just like, oh,
that's
awesome. So then there was a little move I would do in the Big Al costume. I would turn my head and then pull it down for roll tide, right? So I started doing that, and the whole arena's with me, man. Roll tide, and it's just loud, and I'm vibrating. It's awesome.
What is Diamond Dallas Page doing?
Well, he's talking to the referee.
Still talking.
I learned that the referee controls everything that happens in a match. He's got on a headpiece and a microphone.
Okay.
So they're telling him in the back,
just let it go.
1 more minute, 2 minutes, whatever's going on, right? So I do a lap around the ring and crawl up in the ring with Diamond Dallas Page. As I get in the ring with Diamond Dallas Page, what's next? What do you do?
Right.
Well, back in the day, man, I loved watching some Hulk Hogan. Loved him. So I point to this side of the stands, begin to twirl my hand, and listen, they start screaming. I'm like, oh, that's good. And I point to this side, twirl, they scream, this side, and I'm living out a childhood dream.
Oh, sure. And nobody's tackled you. Security has not tackled you.
About 5 seconds of this mess,
yeah,
I'm face first on the mat.
What?
And my arms get yanked behind me. Security.
In the costume.
Yeah. You're going to jail, buddy. You're going straight to jail. And I'm like,
and I'm sure they're getting booed by the crowd.
The crowd goes nuts booing. Goes nuts. Matter of fact, booed the entire main event. They carry me out and take me to the back to their jail cell, which is this little closet.
Right.
I get back there in the jail cell, and Michael's back there, crying, upset.
Oh,
we're going to jail. We're going to jail. And I'm like, dude, we're not going to jail. It's okay. Then I start thinking about it. Maybe we are going to jail. So anyway, long story short, because I can tell this story for hours. End up getting cussed out by some of the best wrestlers, Ric Flair, all their guys, right? Yeah. We had to have a letter of apology signed and faxed back to them by noon the next day by everybody. It was anybody in our athletic department, including the coach, saying that we would not enter any more WCW events. There was a lawsuit out on the university, on the athletic department, on the cheerleading department, my coach.
Right.
There was a warrant out for my arrest. I mean, it got deep, but we ended up getting through it, man.
Yeah, well, that's just, now you've got a great story.
That's right. Now I'm going to tell you what, That night, I didn't think I had a great story. That night, I thought,
man.
I'm out of college, I'm kicked out.
Oh, yeah, for 2 weeks,
I have
you're
to track
probably
down my
just...
coach and get her to validate that I really am the real Big Al, not some guy in an elephant suit.
For at least 2 weeks, you're just sweating
Oh, it was
bullets.
miserable. Yeah, it was miserable. I had to check out the costume. I didn't have full access to it. I had to go check it out from the athletic department because they were afraid I might do something crazy like that again. And so every day I was checking it out. I've got a birthday party to go to. I've got an alumni event to go to. I've got a basketball game to go to. Whatever it was, had to go check it out. That's right.
6/24.
That's right. And check it back in when I brought it back. So yeah, that lasted for just a little bit because Big Al is very active.
So I promised our audience today that we would tell the Gene Stallings allowing a cheerleader to be the head football coach at Alabama.
Great story.
For about 30 minutes or less.
Oh yeah, it was.
Please enlighten the crowd on that story.
So you heard me talking about summer camps.
And let me preface this by saying there are probably 20 to 30 stories that we can't tell.
Absolutely, yes.
Because of legal.
Yeah, and some personal details.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but we're going to tell this one. We're going to tell this one.
This one. I hope Coach Stallings, if you're watching this,
we love you.
And I shouldn't have told this story. Talk to him.
It's not my fault. Blame me. I have broad shoulders.
So it's very common in the summertime.
I love this story, by the way, guys.
Very common in summertime that at Alabama. There's cheerleading camp going on every 3 days. There's a new 2,000 girls going to cheerleading camp, right? And so the instructors do come from the Alabama cheerleading department, but they also come from other cheerleading teams around the world, around the nation. Sorry. And so usually it's some of your higher level cheerleaders come in from other squads to come teach these camps. And so there was one particular day we were doing a cheerleading camp, and there's probably 1,500, 2,000 girls there. And we get a message over from the athletic department building, or from the football department building. Now we're in Coleman Coliseum, is where the cheerleading office is, and that's the hub of all these cheerleading camps. Everything starts.
How many girls and guys are there? 1,000?
Thousands.
Yeah, thousands.
Yeah, between 1,500 and 2,000.
Yeah.
And so, so we get a message from the football building that says Coach Stallings is looking for, I forget the girl's name.
Ashley. We'll call her Ashley.
Let's call her Ashley. Looking for Ashley. He wants Ashley to come to his office.
And Ashley is just a 17-year-old girl. You need water removed from your house.
Happened. Yeah, like it. That's right.
And so let me make sure that. And so I'm down there and I see Feinbaum down there.
Yeah.
And I walk up to him. I'm in a great mood. I come on the field for an Alabama Tennessee game. I walk up to him and I say, Mr. Feinbaum, my name is Scott Howell. It's so nice to meet you. I used to work out with your wife all the time. Would you mind telling her that I said hello? And he has this look on his face. And the look on his face is, number one, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Number two, how do you know my wife?
Sure.
And so he shakes my hand kind of, not begrudgingly, but just like, you could just see the wheels turning. And he's like, what is this kid doing? Walking up to me asking me. And so that's my
awesome.
Alabama football meeting Paul Feinbaum story was I walked off and I could just see him looking at me like, who the hell was that?
That's cool. Come on, Feinbaum.
A lot of good times in Tuscaloosa. We really enjoyed our time there. I did, and I wasn't even going to college there really. I took a few classes, but enjoyed just living there and being a part of the community. Love Randall Publishing. Love all the people at Randall Publishing. You know, some days kind of wish you were still there and getting after it, you know?
Well, it was a great educational experience.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that both of our careers have moved on and progressed. You know what I mean?
Right.
But man, it was a great place to start.
Yeah,
we're real lucky to start there, especially under the management they had there.
Absolutely. So before we leave today, let's talk a little bit of insurance. I always try to leave you guys with a little bit of knowledge. Don't care where you have your insurance. This is applicable no matter where you have your insurance. So you have a homeowner's claim. It's a water claim, fire damage claim, maybe your business lightning strikes. You've got fire or water, like you said, a water line burst. So when you call me and it's 8 o'clock at night on a Thursday night and something's happened, and you say, Scott, we got a problem. We've got a major water leak at our house. We just walked in. The entire basement's flooded. The first thing I do is I usually keep you on the line, and then I call claims and we report that claim. And we immediately, that fast, start talking about who are we going to get out there to start this cleanup, because we need to get somebody out there now.
Sure.
And so Shane works for Servpro, and they are the guys that we and a lot of other companies call to get out there as fast as we can. So take it from there and talk a little bit about what you
Yeah, hey, that's a great intro there. So Scott's right. Emergencies happen, and they're rarely can be prepared for. And so what our goal is to help you create that plan and know what's next. Because some people just don't know what's next. What do I do? Who do I call? You probably find that most of your customers call you immediately, right when it happened. Hey,
I expect them to.
Hey Scott, listen, this is Shane Sharpe. I've got insurance with you. I just came home from the lake and there's water all over my kitchen floor. It's in my dining room. What do I do?
Right.
So Servpro is that person that you call to come in and take care of that. So our goal is this. We want to come in a water situation and get that facility dry, because what we don't want to happen is that problem to become a bigger problem. Mm-hmm. We don't want that water on your floor to begin damaging all the materials where everything's got to be replaced.
Right. Mold.
We don't want mold to happen. Mm-hmm. So you need to get somebody out there immediately to mitigate that. The science of water, man, water, once it finds a dark spot, it's ready. And it won't start generating mold immediately.
Right.
And so what we want to do is we want to help minimize that. And so what we do is we protect. The faster we can get out there, the more of the property that we can protect and keep your rates down. Mm-hmm. If we just let it sit there for a little while, and all of a sudden this is a complete construction project.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so what we want to do is we want to get in there, get this thing dry, take care of it. If it's a fire damage, so many people call us, especially commercial businesses, will call us and they'll say, so I just had a fire in the kitchen area and my whole building smells like smoke. What can you do? Can you help me? And we'll get out there and immediately begin to clean the smoke smell out of the building, wipe off all the soot. So if it needs to be repainted over, it can. But if it doesn't, we clean it up and then we take the odor out of the building. I had a restaurant just the other day had a huge gas fire. And now this is not the norm, but they made this happen with our help. They had a gas fire on Thursday and we're back open on Sunday. Now here, all the sprinklers went off in their store. Mm-hmm. They had this big explosion of fire, all this damage everywhere, and we just got there and got after it. So they had minimal downtime. That's really hard to do.
Right.
Obviously mold damage, if you find something in your house that you think is mold, you got to take it very serious. Anymore, people are really having issues with health related problems from mold. And so it's certainly something to call about and say, I need some help. We talked about fire and water damage, biohazard cleanup, you hate that kind of thing. But when it comes to dealing with insurance, we want to be a partner with people like Scott. Now, if you're not buying insurance from Scott, this is a great agency to buy from, because what they do is Scott's hands-on. Look, there's some agencies that just say, here's 1-800 claims number, go deal with it. Right? Yeah. So for me, when I'm buying insurance, I want to buy from somebody that says, I'm going to walk through this with you.
Right.
I'm going to take care of you so that you've got my expertise through this situation. So what Scott does is he vets out all the different vendors for all the different things that could happen, so that whenever it happens, he's got a plan. Yep. So he knows immediately. We'll take your friend down in Birmingham. He had a situation with his apartment complex, calls us. We've immediately got somebody there to take care of the fire damage and everything.
Yeah, within about 30 minutes.
It's really it's important that you move fast and take care of that.
Yeah, and that's something that we do here in this agency that we don't talk enough about, is we have a list of vendors, and they're all in my cell phone. So when the 800-year-old oak tree falls on your lake house at 7 o'clock at night, and you pull up, and I kind of already know who I'm calling when the phone rings.
But
you tell me about
your vendor knows this. They know that if they get a call from you, that they've got to treat that with high priority.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If Scott has taken the time to call directly with one of his customers in jeopardy,
right,
that vendor is going to move because of who you are and what you've done at this office.
Well, I appreciate them doing that. I appreciate you saying that.
Sure, that's how every office don't operate that way. Yeah. I mean, some of them are happy to just here's 800 number and here's 5 vendors you pick and I'm out of it.
Yeah.
Some do it that way. No way's right or wrong, but man, I sure like your way.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Shane, I love you.
Yeah, man.
Don't be shocked if you don't see us in business together again one day. Don't be shocked. But hey, thank you so much for watching today. My name is Scott Howell. This is Shane Sharpe. Ask the insurance guy online. Hope you enjoyed our episode today. We love you. We appreciate you.
Like it on Facebook. Share it on Facebook.
Share it, like it, love it. Roll Tide, War Eagles, Go Balls, and anything else out there that you want to pull for. This is Scott Howell. Scott Howell and Associates. Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side.
Servpro too.
And Servpro. Say yeah. Man, I love it. I love it.
Good one, man. That's magic right there.
I'll tell you.
How we did?
Good.
Good?
Not really. I mean, there's a couple comments. It was Michael.
Dornay.
Dornay,
Yeah. He commented.